encourage you to connect to the Social Studies Network. It's a great resource just for teachers. You don't oftentimes get a lot of time to talk about social studies. So the fact that I'm here with you for 3 hours to talk about social studies and inquiry is going to be great and fun. So if you are new to OVEC or understand kind of our process, we like to start with what we call a triple track agenda. The first track is for you and your thinking and your learning throughout our session today, and that's just an essential question that we're going to keep coming back to. And today we're really just focused on inquiry-based instruction and inquiry-based learning in social studies. So that's going to be what we're really focused on and thinking about today. The second track is for your people. So it's nice that you've got some people here with you, so you're hearing the same things, and when you leave here today and things get super busy and crazy, hopefully you can help each other remember the ideas that you came up with, and keep this work and this thinking going, because it's easy to come to a training, be all engaged and into it, and then leave and go back to the real world and things kind of just get lost in the shuffle. So the more minds the better, the more that you can keep these conversations going beyond our time together is going to be helpful. So keep your people in mind, and then keep our students in mind. So we call him our child in the chair, but he's any child and every child, and ultimately everything that we do is impacting his learning experience. So think through the lens of the students today too, as we're going. We have 3 norms. They're super simple. Be curious, give just a little. It sounds like you guys are already in the thick of it. Today it's going to be a light lift. It's going to be hopefully a little fun and engaging and help you think through inquiry maybe in a different light. And then show some grace. We're all learning together. All right, everybody ready? Let me acquaint you to some things on your table. You've got Legos. We're going to deal with those later. You've got some folders and things that we'll look at, but you also have 3 handouts that you can go ahead and distribute at your table. The top one with the 4 boxes is just a note catcher to capture your thinking throughout the day. Then we have the inquiry self-reflection tool. We'll look at that later. And then you also have the instructional shifts. We'll look at all of those later, but the first thing that you need is just that kind of graphic organizer note catcher. We're going to start with that. So does everybody have that in front of them? You've got 4 square, yes, perfect. You've got 4 squares at the top. We're going to start with a sweet game of Foursquare. Super simple. All right. You guys know this movie? We're waiting until people don't know, because we still love it, but you know, it's a little older now, so someday people are going to be like, your jokes are, I don't know what you're talking about. All right, sweet game of Foursquare. So the first box on your Foursquare, here's what I want you to enter. This is not myself and Jen, my partner, that we work together a lot. We always say it could be us. The big bangs. Here's what I want you to think about. What is the fashion mistake that you have made in your lifetime that you regret, that you wish you hadn't done? So the big bangs with the Aquanet, that was 100% me. But what's yours? And if you are like, you know what, I don't make fashion mistakes, then think about other people's. We've seen things like stirrup pants or shoulder pads or whatever, right? Think about your fashion mistake and put that one in your first box. Exactly. If you don't think it's a mistake, then don't put it down. Think about someone else's mistake. If you still love it, then you roll with that. All right, everybody have a fashion mistake down? It's always a fun thing to think about. The next box. I want you to rate your summer. It's coming to an end. Some of us had the best summer ever. We could give it a 10. Some of us maybe had a terrible summer, and we could give it a 1. Just pick a number. How would you rate your summer? 1 through 10. 1 is the worst, 10 is the best. How would you rate your summer? Hopefully, it's close to a 10. I mean, maybe you're like way off the charts. I mean, you do you. All right, everybody have it ready? All right, the third one, speaking of summer, and it's almost over. If you're like me, I always have these big to-do lists in the summer. It's like, oh, when I finally have some free time, I'm gonna get to cleaning out my basement, or I'm gonna do whatever, right? All the like nagging chores that just never seem to get done. And I always say I'm gonna do them over the summer, and then somehow I just don't, right? Procrastination is just strong. So, what's the one thing that you had on your summer to-do list that you just didn't get around to doing? You had good intentions, you thought you would have time, but here it is, school starts next week and it still hasn't gotten done. Okay, and last but not least, this one's old now, but I don't know what on fleek means, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask. What are the kids saying? What would you like them maybe to stop saying? So like new language, new terms, slang, whatever it is that they're saying. Okay, that you would prefer to not hear again. All right, everybody have their 4 squares? All right, we're gonna get up and moving to get us a little blood flowing this morning. I don't have music, but if you feel like Carltoning around the room, you do you. I just want you to mix and mingle and walk around the room. Just take your paper, that's all you need, and when I say stop, you will find a partner and I'll give you your next set of directions. So, just mix and mingle, get the blood flowing, walk around the room. You can remember. When I say stop, and you mix and mingle, Carlton and dance. Yesterday we were at a high school, and the teachers were legit dancing around the room. I was impressed. All right, and stop. Okay, find a partner here to you. If it needs to be a trio, that's fine too. And go ahead and share your 4 squares. That's it.
Okay. So what was your fashion?
You're kidding, but not kidding.
Yeah, I did.
I think you're big girl 80s.
Oh, yeah.
When I did that,
I'm down here.
it was easy to work. It wasn't bad. I enjoyed it, but
They're all like sitting upright. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. I want to clean up. I did it yesterday. I probably have something that makes a difference. I'll take it. She's like, it's 2 bags of 17. Yeah. Okay, I will bring it. I don't have to work for it, but I'll take it. Okay, well, just leave it in the bag. So you got it.
It was nice. It was nice. But it's not as nice as South.
Right. Yeah, they have a couple things.
It's like his whole life.
Riley does it all.
I think the standard
Yes,
is the same.
like,
It's just they're creating
Yes.
awesome, like, awesome. So when the kids are getting it, you'll be like, well, I got
You know when you're like,
do it.
All
Do
right.
it.
Go ahead and look at
That's what
your,
you're
look
gonna
to
do.
your partner and say, I'm so glad it was you. And have a seat.
Yes, yes.
I said bro when addressing.
All right, it's important to me to kind of get a feel for who's in the room, and for us to learn about each other. So let's start. Let's start with those fashion mistakes. Oh, what are some fashion mistakes that you've made, or maybe your partner made? You can call someone out. What do we got? Fashion mistakes? Anybody want to share theirs? Bermuda shorts. Actually, I was just looking at some old pictures and I was like, whoo, what was I thinking? Like, really right there to the knee, like, cut your leg completely off. Like, yeah, not a good look. Yeah. What else?
low-rise jeans.
Oh, gosh. Low-rise jeans. Yes. And they're coming back.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. That's not good. I will not be following that.
That's what we all say, and then we do.
And what's that? Oh, side part, yeah. Like, yeah, yeah. Like, hers was the ear part.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. All right, so here's the deal. When we're designing instruction, and specifically thinking about inquiry, we're gonna make some mistakes. We're gonna own those. We're gonna be okay with the fact that we're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna learn from it, and we're gonna move on. We're not gonna wear the Bermuda shorts again. We're not going back to the low-cut jeans. We're gonna learn from our mistakes, but we're gonna be open to the fact that that's probably gonna happen, because that's just a part of learning, right? All right, best summer. Anybody out here have a really awesome summer? All right, awesome. Tell us why.
Just a lot of traveling.
I'm jealous. I didn't do travel this summer at all. Yeah, that's
The whole
awesome.
summer.
The whole summer. Yeah, fantastic. You had a great summer too?
I graduated with my master's in May.
Yeah!
I slept, I traveled, I slept some more, it was wonderful.
Oh, that sounds perfect. Go girl. Perfect. All right. In this process of designing inquiry-based instruction, it should be fun. Today's gonna be fun for you guys. It should also be fun for your kids. Okay, so keep that in mind. Anybody have great ideas, great intentions, but just didn't get some things done though? Maybe you were traveling too much and couldn't do those chores. What did you not get knocked off your summer to-do list? Weeds.
I've given up.
Yeah. They're just gonna take over and I'm
I
gonna
will just
live with it.
nature at
Yeah.
this point.
Just
I
let
don't
it,
really care.
let it be free. Anybody else? Oh. Yes, it sort of happened for me, but not to the degree that it should have, you know? Like, I really need to get back into like a really steady, and it's just hit or miss, and I'm struggling with that one too. All right, which tells us if it's not getting done, we're probably not planning for it, right? We gotta really plan for it, and sometimes there's just so many things that we plan for that it doesn't always happen. So we're gonna give each other some grace, but we are still just gonna try, right? So inquiry-based instruction doesn't just happen. We don't fall into it, we gotta really plan for it. And so if we wanna make it happen, we gotta make a plan. And we're gonna work through that today. And then the last thing, this kid language, and you guys have the elementary side, I have high schoolers at home, and so I'm like, oh my God, what are you guys even saying to me? So, and I'm away, I used to be a high school teacher, so I felt like I was kind of up with the lingo, but not so much anymore, except for what my kids bring home. But, what are the kids saying these days? What do we want to get rid of? Bruh.
Specifically to you, the
Yeah, like,
Just thinking, bro.
yeah, exactly, yes, bruh. I saw this happening, do we still have 6, 7? I thought it was dying, it's fizzling.
You know why? 'Cause now we.
It's all.
That's right, so anything that you don't like, just call them bruh, and they'll stop doing it, because we're not cool. So, when we're talking instruction and when we're talking collaboration as a team and thinking about working together, we have to have a common language. We can't have you saying one thing and I really don't even know what you mean by that, right? So as we're working today, we're gonna work and build that common language of what does inquiry-based instruction really even mean and look like, and so that we're all talking the same thing, okay? So that's the plan for today. We're gonna start with this. Because, you know, it's been around for a long time, lots of people use this word, and it can mean a whole host of things. So, here's what I want you to do. In your table boxes, there are Post-it notes. If you've been around OVEC for very long, you know that we have a strategy called Jot Thoughts that we really love. So, Jot Thoughts is up here. I put these instructions like this so that you can take these slides and just plug them into your own slide decks if you like. So I'm the teacher, you're the student, but obviously I know you're grown-ups, but this way you can just, you know, slide it into your own slide deck. But for this structure, you need a stack of Post-its. You don't need a whole pad, but you need more than 1 or 2. So there are big Post-its in your table boxes, there may be some small ones, it doesn't matter what size, but everybody needs a good healthy stack of Post-its. And then, you're just gonna, I know we've got smaller tables and I put lots of things out, but you're gonna need a little space to spread out your Post-its. So just allow yourself, tidy up. I don't think we need devices or anything right now, so if that feels good, put that aside. But the way this structure works, it's a brainstorming strategy. In a second, I'm gonna give you a topic, and you are gonna brainstorm all the things that come into your mind. You're gonna write one idea per Post-it, and you're gonna say it out loud as you write it. The reason we say it out loud is that you might say something that sparks me to think of something else, right? So we're just kind of bouncing off of each other. Everybody's working simultaneously. If you hear something across the room that you like and you wanna put it at your table, you write it down. If you happen to write something that your partner writes at the same time, no big deal. We're just covering the table with ideas. Make sense? Okay, so here is your topic. What comes to mind, all the things that come to mind when you hear inquiry-based learning? Remember, say it out loud as you write it so that other people can hear.
One person.
So curiosity,
Like everybody takes turns writing as you think it. Like I'm not gonna write down the same thing Melissa has. That's why I say it out loud. Yeah.
collaboration I saw. Anything that comes to mind when you think of inquiry-based learning. Ooh, primary sources. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Perfect. Hands-on I saw. Student-centered. Research I saw. Projects. What else comes to mind? Wonderings. All right, wherever you are is perfect. Let's stop there. Okay, so for this, because you're by yourself, I'm gonna have you take your Post-its and join us table over here. All right, so what I want you to do now is work as a table and pull all of your Post-its together. And you decide how you want to categorize your Post-its. So, here are the 2 rules. You have to have more than one category. You can't just say these are all things inquiry, okay? You have to have more than one category. It's up to you. You could have 2, you could have 10. It's up to you. And then you have to name your categories. So why are you grouping certain things together? Okay? So that's your task. You're working as a table, taking all those Post-its and categorizing them, and giving those categories names. Okay? Go. Make sure that your categories have a name. We're going to share those out in about 1 minute. So make sure each category has a name. We're going to share those out in just a second. All right. Everybody seems ready. So here's what I want you to do. Talk at your table and decide who at your table woke up the earliest this morning.
I mean, I was up from like 3 to 4, that doesn't count though, that was my perimenopause time, that was,
All right, early risers, do me a favor, raise your hand. Who's the early riser in each group? Raise your hand. Do we have an early riser? Okay, do me a favor, raise one finger, the good finger, not the bad finger. Use that finger and say, I got up too early. You get to share out and decide who's going to share out at your group. All right? So if you're the early riser, you get to pick who's sharing out.
I think everybody needs to say, who'd you pick?
All right. So here's what we're going to do. Whoever was chosen, voluntold, all you have to do is share your category names. Okay? And as we go from group to group, we're just going to listen for some trends. Think about how other people categorized what they know and what comes to mind when we think about inquiry-based learning. All right, we ready? All right, let's just start here at this table.
We had questioning, reasoning, projects, or like the actions, and then gaining knowledge.
Okay. Questioning, reasoning, the projects, and then gaining knowledge. All right, that makes sense to me. All right, what about you guys?
We had research, groups, and student-led.
Okay, research, groups, and student-led. You guys?
What they get out of it,
Okay.
what they do to get it, and how they get it.
Oh, okay. What they get out of it, what they do to get it, and how they do it. Okay, makes sense. I like that. And then last but not least.
we have mental and physical.
Ooh, mental and physical. Tell me the difference.
Well, in our categories are things that you would do like mentally, like question. Do you want me to tell you?
No, you don't have to give them all. I'm just, like, maybe more the physical. That one seems.
Oh, well, physical is like tangible, like,
okay.
like primary sources,
Oh, okay.
hands-on.
Yes.
So mental and physical is what
Okay.
we're, you know.
Okay, totally makes sense. All right, so this is not a new concept, right? We know some things. all of these categories are definitely firmly in the camp of inquiry-based learning. It's been around for a long time. There's been a lot of research about it. There's actually a ton of models of what inquiry-based learning might look like. So here's what you're gonna do next. You're gonna look at some of those models, some of that research on what inquiry-based learning is all about. And they are these cardstock, I got big pictures for you so you can really look at them. There's probably like 7 or 8 of them. Spread those out at your table. They're all up here too. I'm not gonna go through them. I'm gonna let you guys look at them. But there's a big variety of different approaches of how people describe or even talk about the process of how to do it to explain inquiry-based learning. So here's what I want you to do. Take these, spread them out, do some comparison, and just what do you notice about them? What do you wonder? These are all different resources around what inquiry-based learning is all about. So what do you notice? What do you wonder? Did you notice any patterns, any similarities across the different models of inquiry?
There's a lot of them, not necessarily all of them, but a lot of them seem cyclical.
Yes. Anybody else notice that? A lot of them seem like they're a cycle, right? They're in a circle in some way.
Sorry, vocab.
Okay, what else?
We, noticed that like, we kinda like categorize them with like, that's 3 steps, this is 4 steps, these are like 6, 7 steps. So we noticed that, and then I noticed that there were some that, like, one of the first steps, at least I feel like it should be one of the first steps, cause it's cyclical, or whatever he just said, is that there's questioning in there, and I feel like this one doesn't have anything that mentions, and that one doesn't have anything that mentions questioning, and I feel like this one doesn't really either. So, inquiry is, you're finding out,
Yeah,
right?
it's
So,
based on questions,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Were there, so it sounds like to me that you guys talked about how questioning needs to be a big part of
yeah.
the process for you. Were there any that you guys, that stood out to you that you tended to like better, that you just kind of gravitated towards or like spoke to you a little bit more? Or maybe one that you were like, I don't even know exactly, I haven't thought of it like this. So I'm seeing, so a lot of you are liking there's two that are similar with the boxes, yep. And then the other one with the colorful circle, yeah. Very similar, kind of, very process oriented, right? Very cyclical. For me, and it's funny because I heard you guys over there talking about this one. I actually really like this one from a teacher perspective. It doesn't necessarily give you like how to go about designing it, but it definitely shows the intersection of thinking about student-centered learning, building critical thinking, constructivist, so having kids develop their own meaning. And so I think questioning fits into those things, collaboration, but really that inquiry-based learning is like the, where all of those things come together. That one speaks to me, but some people really like the more kind of process-oriented of that cycle of learning. They're all fine, they're all correct, right? They're just different ways to look at inquiry-based learning, and they all, just like any model, describe it in different ways, right? Have different purposes. This one, let me go back. PBL obviously is probably familiar to all of you around here. Let me see, I can't find it. This one. This one is super broad and vague, right? But this one goes to the idea of that you're going to acquire some new knowledge, you're going to make some meaning, and then you're going to hopefully be able to transfer it. So that's kind of in that PBL lens of what are you going to do with this learning, right? There's some sort of product in the end that you're transferring your learning. So they're all, they all describe the same thing, but just in different ways, right? And so we can kind of take pieces of all of them to inform how we think about inquiry-based learning and to design classrooms where inquiry-based learning can really happen. The last thing I'm going to point you to is that self-reflection tool. There's a green side and a red side. And so we're not going to use it to reflect on your own practices, although you can later if you would like. But this is a tool that you can use that is supposed to kind of give you an indicator if you walk into a classroom whether inquiry-based learning is happening or it's not happening. Oh, there they are. Did you all find them? Right there. She's holding them. No, with the green. Yes. Mm-hmm. Do you have enough of those? I have more.
Yes.
Oh.
We were looking for that.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It's not up there.
I was like,
Yeah.
picture.
Okay. No, just this and this. Okay. So.
Gotcha.
These I think are interesting. The green side are indicators that inquiry may be happening in a classroom. The red side is indicators that inquiry may not be happening. So I just want you to read these and kind of skim through them through the lens of do you agree with this or do you disagree with this? So how would you rate it? Yes, I agree that this is an indicator of inquiry. Or I don't know, I would push back on this. I don't necessarily agree with this, right? So you're not using this to reflect on your own practices. You're using it through the lens of inquiry. Do you agree with these indicators and non-indicators? Make sure that you give yourself time to look on the back because the non-indicators are just as important as the indicators. So I'm just going to give you a few minutes on your own. This is yours. You can annotate, write on it, do whatever you want. And we'll just have a conversation afterwards about do we agree with these indicators and non-indicators. Okay? Go. And then the indicators that inquiry may not be happening. All right, go ahead and talk at your table. Which ones are you like, yeah, I totally agree with this makes sense. And which ones are you kind of pushing back on a little bit? Maybe you're questioning, or maybe you just fully disagree. All right, let's talk together. What are your thoughts? What are some things that you agree with, it makes sense, you're on board, and what are some things that maybe you question or just plain disagree with? Something you said or something you heard?
I like everything on the green side.
You like the green side, okay?
There are things on the red side that I don't necessarily agree with, because there are some things, especially facts, because if you're going to talk about social studies, you're getting into history. In history, there are facts that need to be learned, and so that is a sit and get sometimes.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that you can't embed inquiry in those, but sometimes you have to front load them with facts in order for them to successfully handle the inquiry.
Yeah.
Because at that age, they're, you know, they're still little and they're still processing, and they don't have enough world experience. So sometimes you just have to tell them
Yeah.
and have them know it, and then you can build upon that knowledge to then throw it into some inquiry that will then lead into something else.
Okay, so you have to kind of build some background knowledge.
You do.
Before you can really allow them to do their own inquiry. Because if it's all about asking questions and they have no background knowledge, then what are they asking questions about, right? Anybody else have a similar conversation? Okay, I agree with that. I agree with that. And to your point, it's not all the time, and it's not the only thing. But yeah, there is some kind of level setting of we need some collective experience and background knowledge to be able to jump into an inquiry about a particular topic.
When they start getting the facts like that they didn't have any background at all, then they can start asking, why did that happen?
Right, so that, the background, the facts, the context of what it is that they're learning can promote those questions, right? Absolutely. Why did that happen? Why did that person or that group do that thing, right? What else did you guys agree with or push back on this chart?
Our students with moderate severe disabilities, so inquiry looks really different in my classroom.
Yes.
So they're on the green side, I put a lot of like, well, we don't necessarily have to, because some kids that would be overwhelming. We don't necessarily have to. So I like the two lists because it got my creative thinking going of like, I can make this work in this way,
Yes.
but this isn't gonna work in, you know, or like, this probably wouldn't be best in that way. Especially like the talking and the questioning.
Mhm.
My kids ask questions in very different ways than a lot of kids do,
Yes.
but it's still there.
Yes.
It just might look
It
different.
just might look different, yeah, that's right, that's right. Yeah, and so thinking about, the way that different kids are gonna need to approach it might be different, right? And that's okay. The intent behind it all of those models, they're still applicable, they just may not look exactly like this. I'm surprised, did anybody pick up on worksheets? Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
When I was in fifth, I've been in third for 2 years, but I mean, I feel like when I was in fifth, I've built a pretty good, solid curriculum, at least somewhat. And one of the things that, in order for students to make sense of some of the primary sources that are written in Old English and have lots of things that they're not familiar with, I had created a worksheet, I mean, it was a worksheet, where they had to pull the information from from the primary source and then plug it into a worksheet so that they can make sense of it. And that's just like categorizing their brain, and you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
pulling that information, looking for it and sticking it in a spot just to make sense of it. So, with worksheets like that, and then there was another, like, if I'm having to teach them the history, it might be a passage about the Boston Tea Party, and we're gonna read it and we're gonna annotate it. And I don't know if you would consider that a worksheet per se, but like if you're annotating a text and pulling out those important facts and such, again, you have to give them the content
Yes.
and have them learn it.
And they have to understand.
And they have to be able to understand it, so.
Yes,
Because
please,
I know
add
what
to
you're
it.
doing, it's not a worksheet, it's an organizer. And
Mhm.
it's like, so as you're analyzing these are some things to look for, so I wouldn't say it's a worksheet.
So I
Because
think,
it's analyzing the primary
Yeah.
sources, is what it is, so it's like, okay, well, look for the when, the where, the why, the whatever.
right,
Just
that,
organizing their brains.
But if anybody coming in
uh-huh,
saw
Yeah.
it,
they might just.
they would think it would be.
They
So
might
it's
just
kind
think
of like,
it's a fill
you
in the
know,
blank,
yeah, yeah.
plug and play kind of thing.
yeah.
And I agree, so just blanketed worksheets to me does not provide enough context. Because sometimes there are some really effective worksheets that help them, organize their thinking, that help them, consolidate, synthesize, pull out important information. And then it depends on what you do next, right? If you're only doing that of pulling out the when, the where, the how, and then that's it, okay, good, you got it, you don't ask any questions about it, right? So it's not the worksheet itself, it's what you do with it. And I think the connotation is that it's like you send it home, they read the chapter, they answer questions, and then that's the end of it, in which case, yeah, that's not inquiry, right? But if you're using it as more of a graphic organizer that you're gonna then do something with, absolutely, right? So everything has a time and place. Okay, anything else from these that stood out to you that's worth kind of discussing as a group?
I said that, like, if we used the green side to kind of guide some of our, bullet points on our PGPs, you know,
Oh.
looking for all, looking for pulling things out of the green side.
Yeah, that might help you, that's true. And there's some really good, just general kind of environmental things here, like students are working, that there's fun, there's laughter, the good kind, I like that one, right? Like learning should be fun, it's not just a, sterile sit and get kind of environment, and I think that's just good teaching. And yeah, there's a lot of these things that you could be looking for. Students are doing the cognitive heavy lifting, I like that one, right? You want them thinking, you don't want you just kind of trying to like pour information into their little brains, that's not how learning works, right? And so these could really drive some kind of, goals that you set for yourself, yeah. Okay, so we have put out what we think of, when we think about inquiry-based learning on our Post-its. We have looked at a bunch of models. We have now looked at these indicators that it may or may not be happening. What I want you to do now is synthesize your thinking as a group with your Legos. So this is a very broad, open-ended, and when we first did this, I was like, I have no idea what we're gonna get, but every time I am floored by what teachers come up with. So here's your task. As a team, build a structure that illustrates your understanding of inquiry using the Legos that you have. So however you want to do that, and you can combine Legos if you need to steal Legos from other teams. how would you illustrate inquiry using these Legos? You can steal from other trays if you need to. I didn't bring a ton of Legos with me. Yes, you can make me whatever you want. Oh, see, they're not, yeah, you got it.
And this is the wheel that, the inquiry, the wheel.
You have to wear it every day. It's that type of rotate.
I'm not saying, so.
It's just one score. All right, just for the sake of time, I'm gonna give you about 2 more minutes.
Snack. All that thinking is making me hungry. We're making s'mores over here. We don't know what we're doing.
I mean, they got a car. They can do something with that.
We don't have a head at all. That's why we're inquiry, because we need help. We don't have a brain.
so that they can explain the creation. And then everyone else is going to stand and just get a feel, look at a couple other groups. You don't have to see all of them. But go ahead and decide at your table who's going to be your docent, your person that stays and guides and explains your creation. Okay? Go ahead and decide that for me. If you are the docent, you're the explainer, you're going to stay seated at your spot. Everybody ready? And everybody else, you can just stand up and go try to see two other groups. So just check them out, listen to the explanation, maybe see some trends or comparisons from group to group.
Yes, my bumpers on these little chairs. Hey, and we're like, who's that?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Sorry. What's up, Lincoln? Yes. All right. All right, so if you're the guide, explain to your group. All right, once you've seen one, make sure you go see another. Thank you. Whatever. It's good.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see what we got. I want to listen to this.
This is our interactive classroom TV. This is our artifact. This is our student. This is a question mark.
That's right. What's going on with this? Okay. That was good, Travis. You did it all by yourself. That was good. That's nice. He's got a mirror to reflect on his learning.
He had a mirror.
Totally impressed. All right. See, this is where you all get so creative. I love it. All right. That's so tea. So, we have a good understanding. What are some highlights? There was one group one time that there was something about pants, and for the whole rest of the day, we just kept saying, yeah, it's pants. And I don't know why now, but like, it made total sense at the time, and the whole group was really on board with this idea of how pants are, critical in inquiry. I don't know. But they had a whole backstory. So, anything for the good of the group to share? I heard about the mirror.
That was good stuff.
That's good. That's good. Any other highlights?
I like the field trip mobile.
Oh, the field trip mobile. Okay, I like that too. I like that too.
I liked Emily's where she said that if you get lost out at sea, you can still take a bridge and get to take another path.
Yeah, you might get a little lost, but you can find another path. Yeah. And there's not one path to get to where you want to go. There's probably multiple paths. Okay. All right. See. Oh, a
I heard that.
self-directed
That was a graduate
navigator.
profile look right there.
That's pretty good.
I
That's
heard
pretty
it.
good.
I heard it.
Yeah.
Let me just say, this activity made you reflect on your own learning from all the things this week and incorporate some things. So, I'm so proud.
Love it. All right, so we have a good foundation here around inquiry. We're gonna dig a little deeper. We're gonna think about inquiry specifically in social studies, and we're gonna think through some activities and structures that you could use with your students to really drive inquiry for them, okay? So, when you think about inquiry, and you guys in your stories and your creations here, you kind of have it there, right? So there's kind of layers to inquiry that we can think about, right? The first layer is like your curriculum is built around inquiry. We've got these primary source documents, you've got your inquiry-based practices. We're kind of in the process of, in the middle of, we don't have a resource that we're using. We're kind of waiting on KDE to see what happens with that. But like, you have your curriculum, just thinking about inquiry. But then you dig a little deeper, and there are some just instructional practices that really don't have anything to do necessarily with the content per se, but just more in the way that you're instructing kids and getting kids to think about what it is that they're learning. But then if you dig a little deeper to that, when you really think about it, inquiry is kind of building that student agency, it's building that ownership of learning, it's building that self-directed learning, right? All of that language that we have. And then ultimately, if you keep digging, it's just building that mindset of questioning, of going back, of like being a learner, right? When you think about the core of what learning is, it's like I have a question and I want to figure something out, right? And that's just that mindset that we're building in kids. So when we're thinking about these structures today, you can choose what lens you want to think through, right? Is this just like an instructional practice? Or is this something you want to take a little bit deeper and really use it and be transparent about building learner agency? Or is it really about building that mindset, okay? So, I'm going to show you, have you guys seen this strategy called Wicked Hydra? Oh, good. Okay, so this one is great. We use a lot of engagement strategies, but this is one that we full-on stole from someone else. I'm going to show you this video, maybe, if it's going to let me. I thought it was connected to the internet. Give me a second. Let me see what's happening. Oh, I got kicked off. That's why. There we go. All right. So this is a video from Edu Protocols about the structure called Wicked Hydra.
Hydra. Owen, hi. It's good to see you. Mr. Carr here.
All right. Here we go.
You waited for it. Here's my new Edge protocol, the Wicked Hydra. Owen, hi. It's good to see you. Mr. Carr here. If you're new around here, I'm a high school English teacher, Edge Protocols author, dad, plant nerd, all of which you can get if you follow me and stuff like that. And, you know, if you swipe left, you can find a link to an interest list if you want to find out when the book's coming out. But that's not why you're here. Let's talk Wicked Hydra and see if you can infer why I called it that. So Wicked Hydra is a questioning protocol for more deeply exploring things in your classroom. So check this out. It's kind of like mind mapping, right? But with like an endlessly open-ended twist. Here's the basics, and stick around for a good example. You're going to start with a basic prompt, and then like a mind map, but now you're going to have questions off of that basic question. So instead of looking for solutions or evidence or proofs, you're really looking for more unknowns. Here's an example. We're reading a novel in our English 10 class, and I really wanted the students to more deeply understand the four main characters. It's perfect for a Wicked Hydra. So I started by writing the character's name in the center of a dry erase. These happen to have been donated by Rocketbook. They're amazing. You could just as easily do it on paper. So I essentially set up 4 stations around my classroom, one for each of the boards, one for each of the characters. Each student got a dry erase marker, and then we spent 10 minutes kind of quietly walking around the classroom, writing questions. Check this out. Students could write any question off the hub, follow-up questions. It's fun to trail. course, some students thought it was funny to write things like, what was your favorite food? But it was very quickly eclipsed by the genuine engagement from other students. When the time was up, the students chose one board to focus on. The group read everything that had been presented and discussed possible answers to some of the questions. And then I asked them to share out to the group, and the prompt I used was, what is something you didn't know about this character before that you now better understand? So why does this work? Sometimes we drive so quickly for answers that we miss the creative thinking along the way. Wicked Hydra just keeps that door open. It helps students see connections that they may have missed. My struggling readers get to kind of collaboratively work and see the work of everybody else. And being nonverbal, it really helps some students engage in ways that they otherwise wouldn't have. So how would you use this? Consider bookmarking this, sending it to somebody. Like I said earlier, if you're interested in the upcoming ELA Edge Protocols book, there's a link.
Okay, so Wicked Hydra is really fun. We've done it with adults, we've done it with kids. So I'm gonna give you a chart. There are 3 questions regarding social studies inquiry that you're going to look at. We're gonna rotate. And again, all you're doing is thinking of follow-up questions. The questions can be off the main question or it can be off of someone else's question. No answers, just questions. So what I need, everybody needs a marker. There should be enough markers in your table boxes for everybody to grab a marker. If this table, if you wouldn't mind starting there, this table, if you wouldn't mind starting up here, and then your table start here, and then you guys just divide up among the 3, okay? So get to your table, and then I'll go ahead and get you started. Any questions? All right, remember, we are